will, again, what happened is we have three entities here. Okay, the first entity, guys, which is your browser. Okay, the second entity here is the bank that you are dealing with it in a day-to-day basis. Okay, so what happened is you will authenticate to the bank. You will get a cookie or session cookie. You are authenticated now. Now, in order this attack to happen, you really need to visit a website that's really owned by the attacker. So the attacker will maliciously trick you, okay, using social engineering or phishing attacks or whatever to visit his website. What is inside his website? So your browser saying get request to his website, and in his website he have a nice image here, or maybe there is no image at all. You cannot even see it because he can control the size of this image, and your browser will be rendering this image. What inside this image is a command, or what is the command is saying, go to bank, which is your bank. Okay, go to a certain fund basically page. You will go, okay, and in this page, do the following: add to from a query string or a number, which is this one. Add to, this is query string, and this is basically an account number owned and controlled by the attacker. And then amount, okay, this is the attacker what will specify according to how much you have in your bank account. Maybe 5,000. If it doesn't work, he will make it less, or maybe he will make it high again. Then date, he will specify the date. How did he get all these numbers, and how he crafted this specific request? Again, because he studied the bank.com is very in a very good manners. He studied how the transfer fund page looked like, and when you go to any website, guys, and hit continue here, in the URL up there, it will show all the query strings and all the values in the query strings. So the attacker is good in this. Even if it doesn't show you and shows you, dollar signs and all this other stuff, this is called encoding. So he can really encode his request to look exactly like how this website looks like. Okay, guys? So this is basically what's happening. I hope this is clear. Attacker website has an image with an above tag. This is a tag. The image forces the user browser to forge request. And again, that is why they called it cross-site forging request, because this specific image will force the browser to forge a request with a specified URL, and the customer logged into the bank, money will be transferred from this account to this account. Okay, guys? So far, so good. I'm just trying to simplify how CRSF are done. Okay, so now if you say yes, how about the risk, guys? Is it too early to explain all this, programming stuff? Okay, maybe inshallah. That's why I didn't want to really go for really, actually we were gonna talk about basically Windows specific attacks, and this Windows specific attacks, the overflow requires a lot of programming. So I said, let it make it on Sunday when everyone is really fresh. Okay. Again, the forge request is a GET request with a body similar to the post request, and this will be executed in the attacker website. And this is how it works, guys. If you wanted really to see how it works, again, you are authenticated to this website, and then when you are trying to transfer money, okay, okay, when you this is the normal transfer money. This is the transfer page, okay. And when you are trying to transfer money, so you will transfer money normally. You will do post from this website, sorry, this account to this account, and this is the amount, and will be executed. Okay, but again, when you browse to the evil.com, and what the image will be loaded, and the image will be basically saying, you know what, I'm gonna move this amount from this specific account, which is your account, to the attacker account. And again, guys, this is the amounts over here, and this is the date, and here is the last thing, which is recurrence or no is not. This is force the victim browser, this browser, which is your browser as the victim, okay, to go and ask a get request from this specific page and then execute this mode. Okay. One of the problems that we can really tell here, guys, is basically the website here, guys, doesn't really differentiate between post and get. And this is really issue. And that's why yesterday I wanted really to explain the difference between get. Get, you are getting information. Post, you are posting information. One of the reasons that this attack managed to really go through, okay, is basically is your website doesn't really specify what kind of request it will be accessing your transfer executed website. Okay, so if you mention clearly, I want a post request. Post means I'm uploading. I don't know if you know a little bit about web programming, but again, in web programming, if we have a form, okay, we usually, guys, when we post the data inside this form, especially if we are filling data in this form, when we hit enter here or the submit button here, it should post this information to the website because I'm really sending data to the website. Okay, if I said get, it will work, but again, I can specify here in the website I only wanted post. I can specify here in the server side it's an only post request. I don't know if you have studied PHP or no. You can specify what kind of data you will get. You will get a post data and save it as variable here in the URL, or you will get data. Okay, so what one of the reason here that I didn't really in the server side of this website didn't really specify post. So when I get a post, I execute it, and this is an original post. This is coming really normally from the user to this website, but this is get are coming from evil.com to get this page. Okay, but inside this get the page, we have also data here. So he dealt with posts as get, and this is what's wrong execution. So that's why early beginning of how to really stop this CRSF attack, that you don't really get a request here, you only allow post requests. Okay, guys, do you understand what is get and post? But how did get this really came from? Get came from the guys why when we have an image here and this image are rendering in our web page, okay, it will try to go and get the image, okay, but inside the get the image we have all this code over here, so it will transfer the image to get request, and this get request will be sent to our transfer.cgi. Okay, guys, we understand what does that mean? Hello? If you wanted me, guys, to really explain it one more time, is okay. I don't mind at all. But I'm just saying this is the difference between post and get. And again, post, we are posting data to the website. Okay, how we get end up with get here? Because when the image are rendering here, or maybe they are executed here in your browser, it will initiate get to whatever is the source of the image. Okay, whatever the source of the image is basically the transfer page here over here, and that's why this command is executed in the background. And by the way, if this image is just very small, you cannot see it, you will not even see what's happening in the background. So this is another thing that the attacker are really good at, is to hide this image somewhere in the page, because he don't want you to see this an image it failed to execute. So this is another thing that you really need to find about. Yes, exactly. Yes, exactly. It's good to really remember how to really handle the post and get request. So one of the really early attacks mitigations is how to really really specify here that I wanted only post messages and not get messages. I think if I showed you how the code will look like, you will remember this. Just give me 1 second. I'll just go here, show you how the difference between post and get. And that's why I wanted really yesterday to explain the difference between post and get. To stop get and allow just post. Allow just post. Yes, this is the early beginning. Okay, but the attacker have a way to really manipulate this as well. I will show you guys, but just give me 1 second. So we post in PHP code. Okay. Okay. So this is PHP post request. Okay, exactly, Ashaza. So that's why we don't use get. And this is again here, this is a form that I was telling you guys that when we have a form, we usually specify here the method is post. Okay. And again, in the server side, okay, we request method as a post. Okay. If we done this, this is at least will stop the attack. Okay. Unless the attacker will manage to convince us to do a post request. But again, it's not easy. But what I'm saying is, with doing this specifically, that's our form should be post, and our how we handle the data in the server side with a post request, this is can be mitigated. Okay, so this is just to show you how what is the difference. So get is less secure in from post in this specific thing, and also there is a difference between guest and post, guys, in the URL itself. In the URL, when you using get, the get data will be showing in the URL here. Okay, if we using post, it's not going to be shows. What I mean by this, guys, and this is again something maybe you studied for whoever studied web programming. When you are using a method here, get, okay, anything that you're gonna hit after you submit here, when you click submit, it will be showing here as a query string in the URL. So your URL over here in the browser, okay, will be showing. And again, we can do this also as an exercise, okay? But when you do the same thing with post, this data will not be showing here in the URL. Again, why this is more secure? Because I don't want anyone standing beside me, or maybe he is analyzing how this request is done to show, okay, basically the URL data here. Maybe my account is over here. Maybe a session ID is showing here. Okay, I don't want anyone to see this. So that's why another difference between get and post. And again, we are not recommended to use get in this specific reason. So we really need to work with post. Okay. So I'm gonna go back here. I'm gonna go and when I'm malicious, this is basically necessary action to take in place. User must be capable to execute an unwanted action on a trusted website, have an implicit authentication. So this is basically, guys, are listing all the conditions that need to be in place in order for this attack to take place or to happen. Okay, so the user must be capable of executing unwanted action on a trusted website. So we have implicit authentication, means you or your browser is authenticated to your bank.com. Okay, so this is one thing. Other thing that's also is need to be there is you visit the bad website. Okay, the trusted website only check that an action come from an authenticated user browser and not the user itself. Okay, what we mean by this, if you are requesting transfer, okay, your browser is sending me a transfer, but you as a user who is sitting on this browser, do you know that your browser are really asking for transfer? And that's why multi-factor authentication here, guys, will come into play. Why? Because basically I got a request to transfer. If I didn't verify with you, okay, so that means the bank.com is trusting your browser. So your browser, if said yes, yes, no, no. So if you allow me in this to explain this is again, back to what we have learned in preventive techniques. So once you get a request to do something important as transfer, okay, how did I know, okay, if you are someone here is smart and who is a little bit knows about security, maybe this guy is being phished, or maybe this is an impersonated person who managed to steal his cookie, or maybe this is his browser being tricked by cross-site request 4G. Okay, I need to know if the browser are really saying this, or the user who is controlling this browser is saying this, okay? Or maybe an attacker who's using this browser who is really behind this. How can we really stop this, guys? By implementing verification, okay? And the verification can be done by what? By saying, okay, you requested this amount, you need to give us an OTP. We're going to send you an OTP to your mobile, and OTP, once you get it, you will be able to do the transfer. So if the attacker are doing this, he doesn't have your mobile, he will not be able to send the OTP. If your browser are doing this, okay, you'll get a notification on your phone and you said, okay, I didn't really do anything. And that's why a lot of banks right now, guys, are implementing OTP. Why? Because he wanted really to stop the attacks that comes as a cross-site scripting, which is XSS. Someone has already your cookie and managed to steal your session ID, or to stop that your browser are doing something on behalf of the attackers, which is basically the cross-site request forgery. Okay, so that's why a lot of I don't know if you have a banking account, but a lot of banking accounts will require now before a transfer, or even sometimes before you check your bank balance, to really get a password like an OTP in your file, or maybe a double factor authentication, maybe a fingerprint or something to authenticate what you're doing. So this is the reason behind the two-factor authentication. Okay. Also, one of the conditions that really require for this attack to take place, and I mentioned it at the beginning of the lecture, that the user must be socially engineered to visit a malicious website during the authenticated session with the trusted website. So this is definitely a condition. Why? Because this is the only time when you visit this website, he will run here a frame, or he will run a picture here, and when you render this picture to your browser, it will generate a request to the original website. Okay, so if you didn't really visit him or website, or maybe he didn't really send you a link, or maybe send you a page visit, this is will not be this attack will not take place. So this is, I would say, it's a combination of social engineering and technical engineering as well. And again, it's targeting a lot of financial systems, and that's why a lot of banks right now, they are really pushing into two-factor authentication. Yes, well, it's harder than ever before, okay, but it's more secure, unfortunately. يعني they're always I'm telling this is what I always tell even to my boss sometimes, and I talk, there is always, and he is always telling to remind me, there is a triangle here, okay, and the triangle is saying ease of use and security, okay, and you need to be balanced, because if you make it very easy, okay, you can see attacks like this happening in the background, okay. If you make it very hard, okay, for someone to log in, people will start to really hate you, and like what Naif is saying, okay, and they will try to find ways to circumvent your security, okay. So maybe if you make I will just give you an example. If you make your password 20 characters, okay, so no one will remember 20 characters, and especially if you don't teach them how to create a strong password. So what will happen is they will end up writing this password in a piece of paper, and stick it in their computers, and again it will fail one day, or in the wrong hands, then, and you will find someone doing the dumpster diving, or maybe social engineering some of your user, and or someone is even passing by his computer from cleaning, he steal it, or someone from the vendor, he's there and you see the password. So this is all the compromise between ease of use and security. So I would rather to have something in between. Don't make it impossible for your end users, and in the same times make it a little bit easy also to let them to get to the system. So I would say that's multi-factor authentication, especially with like something like Google Authenticator, like soft application in your phone, is easy to get the second password unlocked. Okay, so this is another thing. In this particular example, the attacker had to know the from account number as well. So this also what is saying here, and this what I have explained in the last sections. the attacker should be aware of how this guy's form is consist of. That means maybe he has an account in this bank, or maybe he managed to really see how this bank is generating this account. Okay, exactly, Ustaz Ali. That is really the hard code. Or okay, there is another also some way to can the use of SSL. I will explain, but I agree with you, Reem. That's one of the solutions to really stop these attacks, cross-site scripting and cross-site script push, and I would say some other attacks in the OWASP top 10 is multi-factor authentication, definitely 100%. Okay, but again, what we I wanted really to highlight here that the SSL guys will not stop this attack. Okay, why? Because again, the SSL doesn't have anything to do here. SSL is a way to really communicate over an encrypted channel. Okay, your browser will initiate this connection that coming from the attacker. Okay, over an encrypted channel, so it will still reach your server, and it will still impact your server. And again, the SSL will not SSL TLS by you name it, whatever the proper naming here. It will the encrypted traffic will not stop this attack. So it's not gonna be helpful in this case, guys. So this is another thing that we really need to look at. The user browser records session information when she is connected to the trusted site in the first time. A subsequent requested will be encrypted, but no one will really, will check where is it's coming from, your really browser or from someone else. So this is not gonna be here. Okay. Yeah, this is another. This I was thinking this is like an evil plan, man. Wallahi, when this guy is talking, he and Bill Gates, I really get scared because these guys they do have a different agenda. Not as Bill Gates. Bill Gates is even dangerous than him because Bill Gates is like an evil guy. Astaghfirullah. Okay, so username, password, SSL certificate will not really do anything in this attack. It will not stop this attack. So SSL not necessarily protect the user against CSRF. Okay. Okay. Post request based CSRF is gonna be the bank example. We saw the CRF employed a forged GET request. So it's possible to execute a CRF with a post request. Why care? Some sites only accept post request. So this is what I was explaining to you guys. That's if we really implemented our website to only accept, post request, at least in this special attacks that we really talked about, it will not happen. Why? Because basically, when you are loading your the pictures, it will create a GET request. Okay, again, but if you manage to have a script running on the attacker in the attacker website, he can form a post request, and that's why I said the post requests guys are not really are not really the solution to help here. So the get request will definitely stop by the server if we implemented post. But what if the attacker managed really to attack to bring you to a website that has JavaScript running? The JavaScript guys has the ability to create a post request to the bank.com. Okay, and that's in this case again the post and get will be the same. They will be executed. Okay, and and that's why I said this is could be a good methodology, but not 100% is how to do it. Okay. Again, this is an example. If you guys have time to read it, it's showing that this is there is a multinational company. Okay, it's called ING Direct. This is ING. They are like really huge. As you can see, this is 60 billion of assets, and it has 4.1 million. This is back in 2008, and the attack also allowed someone to really to steal funds from ING Direct through the CSRF attack. Okay, how it's been done? again, this is the same steps that we have just uh, talked about, and they managed to really go to open an account, and then once they open the account, they steal someone money, and then they transfer it to this open account, and then finally they managed to even post request to this secure my account indirect, and then transfer the money. So if you guys have time, please read all this story. Okay, how to prevent CRCF. Allow GET request to only retrieve data and not modify data on the servers. We have mentioned this. Require all post requests to contain a Absidio random value. Okay, so this is something similar to guys I would say to a token that you will be sending every time. Okay, let me explain this in a very easy way, because this is not gonna be trusted site generated video value and set it in the cookie. Okay, I will show you how it looks like. Okay, because it's easy to show you how it looks like. So when you access the transfer web page, guys, okay, every time you're trying to access this website, okay, so let me show you one thing here. Okay, so this is your browser, okay, and this is the bank.com, okay. So when you are asking for transfer, okay, when you send the request to this specific page of transferfund.cgi, okay, what will happen is, okay, you need to include a specifically token that's been sent to your session when you are logged in the first place. So if you have a session ID, okay, every time you go to transfer, okay, with the transfer request, add your session ID. Okay, why I'm requesting this here? Okay, I will just go back to this guy over here. When we have you visited our website, okay, the attacker doesn't know your session ID. He does know you are authenticated to this bank, so he will create or craft a message that's going to be sent to this bank as a transfer request as well, but it will not include what? It will not include a session ID. Okay, if if he doesn't have the session ID, the bank will not execute your command. So what he is saying here, every time, and the second solution of this issue, okay, every time, guys, you are doing a bank transfer, you need to include in your bank transfer, look at this, okay, your session ID. Where is this session ID come from? Come the first time you authenticated to the bank. And that's why yesterday when I was talking to you guys, I talked a little bit about the session ID and cookies, or maybe I talked about cookies and session IDs before. Why? Because this is, could be an authentication method to you when you do a transfer. So this is the first solution. Everyone understand what I'm talking about here? Okay, guys? So here, okay, it will say the from to the amount, okay, the token is going to be included here. Okay, guys? And the token, when it reach, okay, it will allow you to be authenticated. Who doesn't have this token, guys? The attacker doesn't have this token. So this is will not be executed. Okay, so this is the token that we are talking about here in this example. Okay, another thing that you also guys need to know about it, if the attacker, okay, if the attacker manage, okay, to steal your token, okay, he can do the same thing. Okay, if he managed to steal these tokens, okay, it can really need really lead to the same results. So you really need to encrypt this token or encrypt this request so no one can see your token. So again, how this is possible? If the attacker managed to get between and you and the servers, and he sees the communications, or this communications is not secure, and he sees the tokens, he can create in your behalf something. And this is can be happen if you are in a Wi-Fi place, and this Wi-Fi place allows the attacker to be in between you and the servers, and he managed to do down grade attack against the CSL and see his and the C tokens that's going back and you and forth between you and the server. And this case also, the token will not be really a good solution to stop this attack. Okay, again, I'm just complicating this. I'm just telling you another scenario, but again, this is not the normal scenario. Okay, so this is one thing that I wanted to really tell you guys. So we have allow only post request, trust side generate residual random number value and set it as a cookie on your browsers. Okay, every form submission post, you include this residual number or this like generated number. Okay, request valid only if the value equal to cookie value. Okay, so in the server side, guys, we will have a condition, and this condition will say, you know what, this request of transfer will be acceptable if it comes from and we check the value that comes with the request, and this is equal to the cookie value that we have initiated for you in the first place. If this number doesn't exist, again, we will not accept your request. This is another also way to do the server side protection. Okay, and here is how it works. Okay, they will take basically the cookie number and add it as a token here in this session. Okay, assume the attacker cannot modify the cookie values. We assume, okay, that is because we don't have super smart attackers who is doing a man of the middle attack or read data sent to the server to the user, same original policy. It does not know the AR, and then for sure, if he doesn't know the R, which is this token value, will not be able to do it. Okay, hence cannot forge the appropriate request through this evil.com anymore. Okay, we assume R is hash value of the session credential and some random data. Okay, guys, so this is another thing. Okay, we have mentioned that the difference between XSS and CSRF, guys, and again, most of them are really attacks. One of them are really exploiting the trust relationship between you and a website directly. This is XSS. But when you log into this website, we have something called same origin policy. If a script is written on this website, it will be executed in the browser because the same origin policy. Okay, and it can really capture your credential or capture your session ID, and this is already harvesting a lot of data from your computer, even interacting with your computer. So this is the XSS. The cross-site scripting is different because it's really manipulating you of using a social engineering, and then in the same time it exploits the trust relationship between you and the website, and it really forge a request on your browser behalf to the original website or to the banking website to really steal funds or maybe to gather information about you or maybe to interact on this website on your behalf. So this is basically the difference between them in a very easy way. Okay, guys, is it clear?
Yes,
Hello?
Mr. Shadi, with you. Clear.
Okay, clear. Great. So this is basically the first part of the lecture. The second part is I also wanted to really because this is another injection attacks, and it happens in XML. Okay, so this is also good to review another like entity. So let's go and look at how this attack is done very quickly, and then I will give you guys break, and then we can come back for a lab. So this is how XSML entity is happening. Basically, guys, XSML is a way to share information and share metadata over the internet. Okay, this is how it works. It's a markable language, and this markable language means I will start the markable language with all these marks, and it start with a definition. I'm using XML version 1, okay, and it's the one that I'm talking about, the XML entity injection, is an injection attack. So when you what we mean by injection attacks, let me explain to you how XML works a little bit first, and then so we mentioned that it's a way, XML is a way to share information, okay, and receive information. So you can get some information from a server using XML, and you can really send the server some data using XML. So I'm giving you an example, which is a small example. Okay, so we have a web application here, and it has something called XML parser. And the parser means that if you send an XML, it will be able to understand what you have sent, and it can be executing this XML. Okay, so this is the XML parser. Okay, and also if you have some data you requested, it can really reply back to you with an XML format. If you guys never seen the XML format and the difference between HTML and XML, I just made some quick demonstration here. What is the difference between them? So as you can see, this is the normal HTML page. So you can see this page, it has header, it has body, and when it's loaded, it will be showing something like this. Okay, so the number of soup. Okay, in XML format is very similar. We start with, we identify this is an XML page. This is the version of the XML. Sometimes we add also what kind of encoding we are using in this XML. And again, you can see here we have menu and items and item names, soup, and the cost for this items is we gonna start our I would say our tags. Okay, and elements here, we can see some elements here. Okay, and then we can see when we load this page to our browser, it will come up with something like this menu. Under the menu there's an item. Under the item it will be, there is an item name called soup and the cost. This is value pairs inside the web page. Okay, so this is XML. Okay, so what is XML entity is all about is all I will inject here. Okay, some sort of code. Okay, and this code when it goes back to the web server. Okay, because this code is a code. Okay, and I didn't do a proper sanitization here in the XML parsers, it will be executed. And usually when it's executed, it can do a lot of things. It can, first of all, when it executed, it can reach the operating system of this server and try to really gather information about this. So I will show you how this happens. But also it can be executed and scan the internal network and see all the network shares in this network. It can be executed and reach your database and see what is inside your database. Okay, so again, it's an injection attack, and this injection attack is allowing me to inject XML code. How the XML looks like here in this specific example. Okay, and as you in this example also, guys, XML does have different components. So we have declaration. This declaration is the first part of this specifically document. This is the declaration, and this is an optional. Okay, but it's good to have to tell your browser you are dealing with XML. Okay, so this is the declaration. We have tags. Where is the tags? You allow me, see, this is the tags here, the text in between the greater than and the smaller than. This is called the tags. Okay, and again, it's similar to what we have talked about yesterday, like DOM. Okay, so this page is also consistent of root. Okay, and then elements, and under the elements we have text. So what is elements? Again, this is elements. We have item names. Okay, this is the basic building block. So it's item name. Okay, between two tags, and then there is also text here between the two, the open item name and the closed item name. We call this, guys, in the end is the attribute. So each item name will have an attribute, and this attribute is basically name value pairs. Here it's going to be name soup. It's going to be 4.99. Okay, and then also in this page we can add some comments. It's like any programming language. We have also some comments. If I do less than, and then exclamation mark dash dash, I can write whatever. And this is when we write comments, it will not really execute it in the parser. Okay, so if I have a parser here, XML parser would not be executed. This is how XML is consist of. The XML is a way to share information. or to receive information from the client is very well adapted right now in the internet, okay? And it allow you to share the data in a specific format. I showed you the guys the format, the menu, the items, and all the stuff. And I show you the components here. We have tags, okay? We have elements under the tags, and under each elements, we have something called the attribute or the value of these elements. Okay, guys, this is a quick introduction about elements, about XML. Okay, so how this attack is done? Again, when you send a message reply back using XML to the server, and the XML parser, this is the processor that it will process your XML request, and it doesn't validate what you have what you have wrote in your XML. You can really refer to external entity. What we mean by referring to an external entity, you can say, you know what, in my documents, I wanted really to execute a command, okay? And then when you give a reference here to external entity, you can say, you know what, when you are executing this, please go to the server, okay, and execute cat against etc, okay, password. So because your XML parser is not really filtering this request, so this external injection, it will go to the server and execute this number. And when this executed, you can get back the password file in your browser. So how this looks like, just to give you an idea, here, this is how it looks like. So we have the XML, okay, and we have here, guys, the tags, and then we have also the elements, and then we have the attributes. So if you can see this attribute, guys, it refers to an external entity. So when your parser is doing this, or new parser is executing this, it will say, xxe, where is this? Okay, it will go back, say, you know what, xxe, okay, system file, okay, backslash etc password. Okay, so this is the entity that you mentioned here. It will be executed, okay, and then it will be returned as a document type. It's called stock check. So what happened is, when this executed in the server, guys, if this command executed in the server, it will show you this as XML in your browser. And what is it? What exactly the content here? The content here is basically the password file exists in this your web server. So we understand what this is all about. It's basically it's an injection attack, and this injection attack will allow you to add an entity, and then entity. Exactly. So Naif is saying this etc password is a question in the CH. So yes, I agree with Naif. This should be also. I think we done a lab against it yesterday, maybe. Okay, so the XML entity is an injection, also known as an XXE. Okay, is a web security vulnerability that allow an attacker to interfere with an application processing of XML data. Why it's processing XML data? Because we have already added an XML parser to our web application. Why? We wanted really to handle XML data. Okay, what is an XML data? This is what an XML data looks like. Okay, great. So this is first of all, okay, it often allows an attacker to view files on the application server file systems. What he's really referring here, you can see when this injection happened, it allowed him to see a file that's in our web application, okay? And for sure, what the attacker will do, they will take these files and try to crack the password. Once they crack the password, you have the usernames already, and you have the password, it's a game over, okay? And to interact with a backend or external system that the application itself can access. What that means you can really take this to another level, which is basically, oh, sorry. You guys can see my screen. You can really take it to another level, when you are sending this injection, you are not really targeting the file system and data here. You are, you are targeting the file system and data and network connection to maybe a database server that connected to your web application server, okay? Or to another entity within the internal network, okay? As long as the web application does have connection to it, I can instruct my XML injection to go to talk to this XML. Sorry, guys. Okay, so far so good. Any question here, guys? So this is the XML. Okay. In some situation, an attacker can escalate XXE attack to compromise the underlying server or other back-end infrastructure by leveraging okay the XXE vulnerability to perform server-side request forgery. Why it's a server-side request forgery? Because basically it seems like a normal request from your web application, okay, but it's actually coming from the attacker XML injection. So this is why we call, this is why I see it, it's very close to the cross-site script request, because the cross-site request forgery, you are getting something, you thought it's coming from a trusted website, but it's actually coming from the attacker. So he can really request some details about the database, okay, and it looks like it's coming from the trusted web application here, and that's why it's dangerous, because you can escalate this attack to a completely different level, which is basically a server side request. Okay, guys, this is how it works. Okay, طبعا in order to explain this in details, I have added here some explanation. Basically, I got it from a website. This is a website of Portiswigger, and the Portiswigger is the same company that developed Burp Suite. So if you guys, I think maybe yesterday or the day before, you used Burp Suite. So Burp Suite have a lot of resources that already published in a website called Portis. Okay. So how to exploit XSE to retrieve files? He is explaining you here in details how you will do this. So in a normal way to really export data from a server or a web application, you request something similar to this, which is you specify the XML, the version, the encoding, okay, that's the way that you will encode the data to the web server, and then you are doing a stock check, and then here, okay, you specify which stock check you are looking for. This is a number, and then you send this back to the XML parser. The XML will execute this to the database, and he will retrieve for you the details about this specific stock name, okay? So this is basically how it works. Okay, but here, the application performs no particular defenses against XSE attacks, so it can exploit the XSE vulnerability to retrieve the ATC password. How he retrieve this? He add here, he refer here, okay, to an external entity. When this specific line is executed in the XML parser, he will go and look at where is this XSE entity exist. He will find it here, okay? And this external entity, what will execute, it will ask him to execute this command. So this is basically will be referring to here, and hearing will be executed, and then you will retrieve, instead of information about the product 381, it will be retrieving data about the ATC password file. Okay, guys? And they call this specifically, they call this line of code the payload. Okay, so this is, I'm referring to an external entity, and this is the payload. What will happen when this is executed, or this is being exploited? The payload will be executed, and you will get in return the password file. So the XXE payload define an external entity, which is XXE, whose value is content of the etc password file, and use the entity with product ID value. This is cause the application response to include the content of this file, and this file for sure it include all the password in this file, especially if no salted implemented in this system. Again, why is this is very successful? because maybe the attacker already done his job to find out this is an Apache server, okay, running over a Linux. Okay, so he done all the scanning first, and he done all the enumeration, and he find out that you are running XML as well. So he done all his job of enumeration the system, scanning the system, understanding what version you are running from Linux, understanding which version you are running from Apache, understand which version you are running from XML parsers, and he gathered this information, and then eventually he decided to inject this XML entity to your basic application and see how it works. And because you are basically using Linux system, so this is really payload will be valid. Okay? If you're using maybe a Windows server, it will be different because he will be trying to accessing different type of files. Okay, so guys, so this is basically the XML internal entities, and that is why I also included here because it's sometimes it can lead to a server side request for you. Okay, and here it's really explain the whole idea behind how can we really use this to do a CCRF attacks, and how can we really add an entity here to really browse some internal website inside your network, and because there is a trust relationship between your web application and your database, it can really exploit this, guys. And here, how can we really mitigate this again? Again, the mitigation is to do validation for each simple XML request, and don't allow external entity to be executed. So this is another way to stop this attack. So I think this is was it. I'll try to add this also part that I have added today. But again, the whole idea, guys, is to give you as much as we can from the web application attacks. Why? Because the web application attack is very famous these days. So you really need to, and this is the first area where the attacker will look at. So you really need to understand what is XSE means, what is cross-site scripting 4G means. And again, I'm telling you, I cannot really remember how many times I was in interviews. Okay, they ask me about these things. What is the difference between cross-site scripting and cross-site scripting for 4G? Maybe you get these questions like in each and every single interview, and simple interviews, and also high-ended interviews. So that's why I wanted really to highlight this today. I think this is a good time to have a break, and then when we come back, inshallah, you guys have any question first before we go for a break?
Thank you, Mr. Shadi. Everything is clear.
Okay, great. I think by now we already try to, as much as we can, we cover injection attack, command line injection yesterday. We cover XML external entities today. We cover cross-site scripting before, SQL injection before. So we try to cover as much as we can from these attacks. But again, these attacks, it's like really big list. So we covered as much as we can. What I will do is I will give you guys maybe 25 minutes break. So this is good to enjoy Sarah's day, to get some tea and refresh a little bit. And then when we come back again, 11 o'clock, Abir will do, it has saying it's a lot. Okay, so let's do 20 minutes. Okay, so because Ibtihal, I will make it 20 minutes. Okay, so now they will hate you, Ibtihal. So let's do every
First, if it's okay.
okay, so we do 25 minutes and we'll come back 11 o'clock sharp. Abir, inshallah, will give you another
Thank you,
demonstration
Shadi.
in EWA. Thank you, guys. And then, inshallah, after this, Asad, inshallah, will be able to join. So, inshallah, see you guys in a bit, inshallah. Enjoy your break and have a great day.
Yes.
طيب يا شباب، عندي database كاملة، بتاعت exploit. هنلاقي فيها كل الاكسبلويت سكريبتس سوري معلش. هنلاقي فيها كل الاكسبلويتس. دي تحديدا اللينك ده لو احنا فتحناه هنلاقي فيه كل اللينكس او كل الكومبايلز بتاعت الاكسبلويتس الافيلابل اللي ممكن تحتاجوها في الوقت الحالي، اللي هي الماستر ديت قاعده موجوده على جيت هاب. انا حطيت لكم كسورس انتوا ترجعوا ليه لو احتجتوه. طيب
Yes.
اوكي، الشاشه واضحه عندكم صح؟
Yes, Miss Abir. It's great.
طيب هنرجع نشغل المشين. بسم الله. كده هي دي المشين، ما نعرف عنها ولا حاجة غير اسمها، واسمها حتى نفسه ما دومين. My God, what is my color? اوكي أنا قلت لكم يوم جهازي هيشتكي لي رب العالمين ان شاء الله. حبيبي
Also, your voice, Miss Abir, is not very clear. Sometimes clear, sometimes cut.
اوكي بس معلش، هو اصلا اليوم انا عندي التهاب في صوتي ما.
سلامتك.
Yes, this is my machine. This right. بس انا ما بعرف ده ماله ليه. اوكي طب هو هيبدو ان احنا هنعمل ريستارت للتالي. معلش طيب في المسافة دي نرجع للانستركشنز بصورة عامة سريعة. الخطوات اللي هنتبعها هنعمل الانيوميريشن هنعمل عشان نكتشف احنا خلاص عملنا. انتوا هتعملوا اكستراكت للمشين، هتحطوها في نفس النتورك تبعكم، بس ما هتكونوا عارفين لان هي شغالة DHCP عشان تعرفوا الاي بي بتاعها هي تحديدا، خصوصا لو انتوا عندكم اكثر من ماشين موجوده على النتورك تبعك. عشان تفايند الاي بي ادرس تبعها بنستخدم اللي هي النت ديسكفر. بعدها هنستخدم nmap to find البورتس الافيلابل بورتس اللي موجوده. بعدها هنستخدم enum عشان نشوف التفاصيل اكثر عن الديفايس ده. في الوقت الحالي هنعملها وهنشوف فيها. انتوا لما تيجي تستخدموا enum for Linux لازم يكون معاكم دوكيمنت او ورقه وقلم او اي حاجه علشان تسجلوا النقاط المهمه اللي هتلاقوها. بعدها looking for vulnerability to make a copy of files. هنشوف الفولنربيلتي المتاحه، بنشوف الاباتشي هي اني فيرجن، وبعد ذاك نمشي نعمل تشيك للسكيورتي مود ونشوف الفولنربيلتي المتاحه او الموجوده في الفولنربيلتي اللي موجوده على الفيرجن ديت، عشان بعد كده احنا نشوف هنستخدم انهي واحده اللي مناسب معانا عندكم السامبا موجودة، انتوا هتعملوها لحالكم، بس انا قررت انه لا، ما احاول اجربها معاكم على اساس انتوا اصلا اشتغلتوا قبل كده تبع سامبا. فور هاندز اون ليتر اون استخدموها انتوا لحالكم لما تكونوا عاوزين تلعبوا، جربوها. كيف كانت حماستكم لما انتوا عاوزين تبتدوا التراك بتاع الاثيكال هاكينج، وحاليا بعد ما انتوا دخلتوا في التراك تبع الاثيكال هاكينج، حسيت انه كان يستاهل كل الحماس اللي انتوا حاسينها؟ اقصد الفكره تبعت الاكسبلويت. Why؟ ليه حبيت try to hack me more؟ انت عاوز تمشي معاهم واحدة واحدة. بس as penetration tester ما هتمشي معاك بالطريقة دي، هتمشي التشالنجز هتكون موجودة على الريال لايف، انت محتاج تعملها alone. Think out of the box. طيب يا ربي. نايف انت تحديدا عندك CEH، فما تقول بيبي ستيب. عشان اكون صادقة، انا try to hack me في حياتي ما اشتغلت عليه. طيب هنبتدي بسم الله. نتديسكفر. هنعتبر انه احنا ما عارفين الاي بي، اور دي اي صح انا عارفه، بس هنعتبر انه احنا ما عارفين الاي بي. كلنا عارفين التفصيله تبعت الكوماند اللي هو الرينج تبع الاي بي ادريس بتاع اللوكال ماشين اللي انت حطاها في نفس الرينج بتاع النتورك تبعك. طيب لان احنا شغالين نات وشغالين دي اتش سي بي، يبقى احنا محتاجين نعرف الاي بي تبع اللوكال ماشين 137، يبقى احنا في الوقت الحالي هنشتغل على 136. على فكرة علشان تخلوا الماشين الاي بي تبعها يبقى قاعد عندكم ما متغير، اوكي سوري، هنعدل في فايل، هقول لكم الفايل اللي هنعدل عليه /etc host. انا ضفتها بالاي بي ادريس تبعها، الاسم والاي بي ادريس تبعها، كده بتبقى assigned، هو هيشوفها على طول بالاي بي ادريس ده. هقفل هفتح هترجع بنفس الاي بي ادريس، سجلت عنده بالماك ادريس تبعه. دي تريكس بس علشان تخلي الاي بي عندك محفوظ. طيب هنعمل ايه بعدها؟ الماب. في المسافة ديت لما تكون انت شغال ما عندنا ترتيب، ما عندنا تسلسل، ما عندنا ستيب باي ستيب. الحاجات ممكن تمشي كلها في نفس الوقت، ممكن تمشي اكتر من كوماند عشان تطلع باكتر من نتيجة في نفس الوقت. هطلع بالكوماند دوت اللي هو enum for Linux. على بال ما ده يخلص قال لي انه البورت بتاع بورت 80 احنا هنعمل اكسبلويت ببورت 304، بس هي في الاول والاساسي الاباتشي من الاول لما تنزل لما تشتغل على بورت 80. الويكنسز الوحيده اللي هم عاملينها، هم عاملين كونفيجريشن بطريقه بروبر في السكيورتي مود اللي عندهم، بس المشكله تبعهم انه الفيرجن قاعده متاحه، نمره واحد، ونمره اثنين ان هي اصلا خالين بورت 80 مفتوح. السيرفيس هي اباتشي، الفيرجن تبعها 1.3.20 قاعده على السيرفر ريد هات، والسكيورتي مود اللي عاملين لها implementation هي security mode 2.8.4 وقاعدة على Open SSL 0.9.6b. دي المعلومات اللي احنا محتاجينها في الوقت الحالي. security mode بالفيرجن دي، Open SSL بالفيرجن ديت، و HTTP بالفيرجن دي. هو ده كل اللي احنا محتاجينه في الوقت الحالي. هنيجي نشوف ده طلع بإيه. new founded SID server IP address about domain target IP ID range username. ما عمل لي ريتريف لاي يوزر نيم ولا باسورد، لكن قال انه عنده نون يوزر نيم موجودات. دومين نيم الجروب اسمه ماي، عنده دومين نيم اسمه ماي جروب، ما محددين الاي دي تبعه. الانيوميريشن يوزر يوزز اي دي يوزر نيم باسورد، دي كلها داتا لو احنا هنحتاج لها في طريقه بتاعت اتاك حاجه ثانيه، ما في الوقت الحالي اللي انا هسه هشتغل به معاكم انتم. بس عموما الكوماند لازم تمشي عشان هتطلع منه بداتا، عشان انت هتعمل لها اناليسيز، تشوفي ايه اللي مفيد للاتاك بتاعك. احنا بعد ما نجمع الداتا ونعمل انالايزنج للداتا ديت بنطلع بانه احنا هنمشي ثرو اني طريقه بتاعت اكسبلويت هتبعها. خلاص انا اخذت البورت واخذت التفاصيل تبعه، حاجه اعمل ايه بعد كده؟ ممكن تاخد كل حاجه، ايوه، على حسب التفاصيل اللي انت عايز تطلع بها، الاوتبوت اللي انت عايز تطلع بها. It is not a problem. ما في حاجه واحده، احنا عندنا نقول كل الطرق تؤدي الى روما. It is not a problem. You can do it. يا شباب في الاختراق ما في ميثودز معينه حتمشي 1 2 3 عندك ليها سيكونس معين لازم انت تتبعيها to complete your او to done your exploit. لا، ممكن تمشي بكل الطرق، كل حاجه، المهم انك توصلي بغض النظر عن الطريقه. طيب هنا احنا عملنا ايه لو خدتوا بالكم؟ ايه ده؟ اوكي، هو ده اللي انا عملته. الاباتشي دي الفيرجن تبعت الاباتشي، انا عايزه اشوف ايه الدنيا فيها. دي كلها vulnerabilities موجوده. مسجل عندهم في الداتابيز بتاعت الفيرجن دي. بس تعالوا ناخد حاجه، قال لك انه في ريموت vulnerability تبعت ريموت موجوده عليها، بس دي بتاعت ويندوز. يعني لو كانت الفيرجن تبع الاباتشي دي نازله على ويندوز، انا ممكن استخدم الفايل ده تو اكسبلويت واعمل بيها بعدين الكومبايليشن بتاعتي. طب هاجي اشوف حاجه ثانيه، دي موجوده وممكن تكون هي على لينكس. قال لك فيرجن 136 139 1311 1312 1320. طب نخليها، نرجع ننزل لتحتها، هنراجعهم كلهم من هنا ولتحت. اباتشي دي ما لنا دخل فيها لانه مشت على تومكات ومشت على حاجات ثانيه اللي هي ما بتاعتنا، والفوق دي هي بي اتش بي ما بتاعتنا. يعني انا عندي ديت وهي عندي ديت، الاثنين دول. طيب عندي دول الاوبن اس اس ال هنرجع لها كمان شويه، لكن هو قال لك دي الاباتشي اوبن اس اس ال على الفيرجن دي، بعد شويه هنشوفها. لكن لو خدتوا بالكم احنا ماخدين 2.1.3.20 ودي 2.8.7 للمود اس اس ال، والمود اس اس ال من احنا لما راجعناها قال المود اس اس ال كانت 2.8.4 اللي هم عاملين لها configuration عندهم، ودي 2.8.7 لكن قال لك اصغر من او يعني كل الفيرجنز اللي قبل 2.7 2.8.7 يعني ضمن النطاق بتاعنا. يعني دي كلها vulnerability احنا ممكن نستخدمها. ممكن نستخدم أنهي واحدة فيهم؟ وأنا عملت إيه؟ مو مشكلة. exit. طيب نيجي نعمل إيه بعد كده؟ نيجي نعمل check للمود SSL. خلاص إحنا عملنا check وشفنا كل الفولنربيلتي اللي متاحة عندنا للأباتشي 1.3.20. نيجي نشوف ديت. ما هناخد هنا بانت عندنا كانت 2.8.7. أنا ما هاخد بس بتاعتي أنا، هاخد 0.8 كل التفاصيل في 0.8. قال لي إنه أنا معلش دي هسميها open lock. عندي 3 open locks موجودة على الفيرجن دي، وفي open SSL ثانية ما هنشتغل بها في الوقت الحالي بتاعت HT access. طيب خلاص عرفت الفولنربيلتي اللي موجودة على المود SSL اللي أنا ممكن استخدمها، وعلى الأباتشي اللي أنا ممكن استخدمها. دول الاثنين اللي أنا هشتغل عليهم. طيب هاجي أعمل السيرش تبعي. عندي اللي بانوا دولة، هستخدم دي عشان أعرف تفاصيل الدنيا اللي فيها اللي هي سوري search exploit ID no. Okay. هي عبارة عن compile files. عبارة عن أكواد compile.c.compile مكتوبة يا إما بلغة البايثون يا إما بلغة السي، وفي أغلب الوقت الكومبايلز مكتوبة بلغة السي أو السي بلس بلس، يا إما بالبايثون يا إما بالسي بلس بلس يا إما بالسي هاش أو السي، يعني اعتمادهم بيزيكلي على السي. Got it guys؟ ما هشتغل لكم على السامبا، ما هشتغل لكم على السامبا، بس حطيتها لكم انتوا تشتغلوا على لحالكم. شوف احنا عملنا ايه، احنا اخترنا ايه. احنا من دولة اخترنا ده. انت هتختار اي واحد، ممكن تختار ده ممكن تختار ده. انا عن نفسي لما جربته واشتغلت عليه اشتغلت على ده، يعني عملت الانستراكشر بده. انت لما تيجي تجرب ممكن تجرب بده او تجرب بده، اتس سيم نفس الانستراكشر، هتغير اسم الفايل ما عندك حاجة مختلفة يعني. طيب أنا عايزة أعمل سوري، هعمل حاجة قبل ما أبتدي. الكوماند اللي أنا هكتبه حاليا هيعمل لي كوبي من الدايركت من الماشين للفايل ده موجود، هيخطه عندي أنا. يبقى أعمل ميك دايركتري نسميه مثلا سي. خلاص هنجي نعمل ايه؟ نعمل الكوماند عشان كل الفايلز اللي احنا هنعمل لها كوبي تتحط عندنا في الفايل ده تبقى واضحة. ما هو ده؟ سوري. هو ده الكوماند، هيعمل كوبي سيرش اكسبلويت، هيجيب من الداتابيز اللي موجوده عندهم هنا بتاعت الاكسبلويت، هيجيب لي الفايل اللي فيه اللي هعمل بيه اكسبلويت للفولنربيلتي بتاعت الاوبن لوك. عمل كوبي. عملنا ببساطه جاب لي هو بالكومبايل تبعه. طيب بعدها سوري دي داتابيز ثانيه، انا عايزه كل الحاجات اللي انا هحتاجها. تخليها موجوده عندك لما تحتاجيها تكون available موجوده. هو ده التاكتكس اللي انا بشتغل بيها، انه احط كل الحاجات تبقى موجوده عندي وتكون قاعده متاحه عشان لما انا احتاجها الاقيها، ما امشي في الوقت ده ادور عليها لسه. او بعد كده هعمل ايه؟ طيب عشان الاسامي، عاوز الاسامي والحاجات تبقى واضحه بالنسبه لك. احنا هنشتغل بايه؟ هنشتغل باوبن لك وهنشتغل بحاجه ثانيه. ده عشان تشتغلوا بيه للسامبا، ده ما هنشتغل بيه، احنا هنشتغل بده حاليا الاوبن لك. هغير اسمها لاوبن لك. حولناها لاوبن لك. طيب لسه انا بجهز وماشيه الحاجات دي. بعد كده بجي بعمل ايه؟ بجي بعمل كومبايل. في الفايل تبع الاوبن لك نفسه المفروض ان انا احطه. عملت كومبايل للاوبن لك، ولما نعمل كومبايل عمل لي كل الكومبايليشن الموجوده، نفذ كل السكريبت اللي موجود على الكومبايل بالكوماند اللي هو GCC -O. ده فايل بيحصل له كرييشن لما انت تنفذ الكوماند ده وتعمل الكومبايليشن، بيعمل كرييشن. لازم تمشي الكوماند موجود تبع الكوماند، يعني هو حاجه من الاساسيات ما اوبشن. طيب ايه اللي حصل؟ open لك الفايل، دي الكومبايلز، عمل الكومبايليشن تبعته. بعدها بيجي بعمل ايه؟ بيجي بدخل امشي دي خلاص بقى executable فايل. ده executable فايل بقى متاح عندي بعد الكومبايليشن. مشى، ما كان في اي نوع من الاشكاليه، الدنيا بتاعته حلوه، كل حاجه مظبوطه. شغلناه. all guys who like عملت. المهم بغض النظر، بعدها هاجي اقول له ايه؟ ده كاونتر ممكن نحدد اي حاجه ما تفرق. فور اكزامبل انا اخذت ده. وصلنا المرحله بتاعتنا بتاعت الاكسبلويت. ده اوبشن، ده كاونتر اللي هي قلنا لي اعمل لي الشال ديت او التعليمه اللي محطوطه هنا، نفذها لي، حطها لي في الفايل ده او مع الفايل ده والاي بي ادريس تبعنا، لكن المره دي ببورت 423 علشان احنا شغالين سكيورتي مود. وبالكاونتر اي ممكن تكون اي كاونتر 100 مثلا. سي كل ما كبرت عدد الكاونتر كل ما هو اذا كان عنده مشكله هيبان هو بيدور بيحاول يحل المشكله. قال ايه؟ قال لك انه في الكونكشن حاول يعمل استابلش للاس اس ال كونكشن. ده اس اس ال كونكشن طلع انه دي السايفر الموجوده في 2 سايفرز هو اشتغل عليها وكان ريدي وقال لي جود باي، ما فتح لي كونكشن. عندي الفايل الثاني 6A 6B، هم اثنين اللي بيحصل لهم جبالك لما عملت الكومبايليشن 6A و 6B. جربت 6A ما ظبطت، ما فتحت لي الكونكشن. ثانك يو. احنا في الوقت الحالي موجودين على الماشين تبعنا. is accessed. هنعمل ايه to find انه احنا فعلا accessed. ID قال لك انت accessed في الوقت الحالي باليوزر اللي اسمه اباتشي اللي هو قاعد 48. الاي دي تبعته ده الجروب اسمه اباتشي وده اليوزر اي دي. في دبليو دي احنا موجودين على ديت الدايركتوري اللي اسمه سلاش تمب. هنعمل ايه؟ ما هنقدر نعمل بينج لان الكوماند الاباتشي ما اوثرايزد انه يعمل بينج، ما بيعمل حاجات كثيره، بس في التعليمات الاساسيه تبع لينكس هو ممكن عادي يعملها. عاوزين ندخل مثلا كات، لا هوست نيم عشان نشوف الاسم نتاكد. هوست نيم ده الهوست نيم تبع الماشين اللي احنا دخلنا عليها. طيب ما بنقدر نعمل اف كونفيج. ما هتشتغل معنا اف كونفيج لانه دي من الاوامر اللي هي بتعمل بها. cat /etc /password. كل الباسوردز اللي موجوده عندي باسورد، عندي يوزر اسمه جون وعندي يوزر اسمه هارولد. دول الاثنين لو لقينا طريقه احنا تو اكسس واحد منهم يبقى حاجه كويسه. عندي الابيليتي ان انا استخدم السودو بس ما عارفين الباسورد تبعت الاباتشي هي كونفيجر بأي طريقه. التشالنج اللي جايه هخليها لكم انتوا تحاولوا عليها to gain الاكسس بتاعت الروت. في الوقت الحالي عندكم كل الانستركشنز اللي تخليكم تعملوا اكسس على الماشين even انه هي configured with security mode بطريقه proper. بس الويكنسز الوحيده وايمن ان هي ويكنس انه بورت 80 مفتوح، بس هنقدر نستخدم الميكانيزم دي to gain الاكسس للماشين. Is it clear guys؟ احنا قلنا داخلين على الاباتشي اونر. يوزر اللي اسمه اباتشي دايما بيبقى اونر على مين؟ وممكن اخذ تفاصيل اكثر على الديفايس ده كيف. طب انا ما بعرف حاجه في اللينك. المره اللي فاتت لما اخذنا اكسس علشان ناخذ الاكسس كان عندنا الويب سايت وكان عندنا لينكس وكان عندنا. المره دي احنا اتبعنا منهج ثاني خالص علشان تو جين الاكسس وخلاص. اكسس احنا حاليا جوا السيرفر عاوزين ناخذ تفاصيل عنه علشان تو جيت الاكسس روت. اي حاجه ممكن تساعدنا، اي مقترحات عندكم؟ معلش نايف ما فهمت يعني تقصد ايه؟
Excuse me, Abir.
Yes. Sam?
I think we have the weekly meeting today, so I believe we need to leave to the other room to meet.
Okay, no problem. Already أنا كنت عارفة إنه في meeting يوم الخميس بس ما
Sorry,
كنت.
your voice is cutting, so I could not hear you.
Okay, قلت أنا عارفة إنه في meeting مفروض إنه يوم الخميس بس أنا ما عارفة إنه هو ما confirmed يعني ما عارفة هو confirmed or not عشان كده كنت حريصة إن أنا أحاول أكمل البروسيس بتاعت الإكسبلويت قبل الميعاد تبع الميتينج.
Yeah, I believe we are late 7 minutes now behind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. جربوا شوفوا إذا الميتينج وبعد كده ممكن نشتغل الوقت الثاني تبدأ opinion مختلفة.
Okay, I will go
Okay,
to the
okay.
other meeting room.
Yes. You can jump.
Okay.
Okay. Welcome. بس قبل كلكم فهمتوا الكلاس تبع اليوم؟ ولا في حاجة ما كانت واضحة؟
It's clear, Miss Abir. But I think it's long lab.
إيه؟
Yeah, it's clear, but the lab, it's, I think it's long. It takes time.
بس الانستركشنز واضحة.
Yes. The instruction is clear. Yeah. So,
السيشن الظهر إن شاء الله هنتفهم في الموضوع ده يا نايف. حاليا اطلعوا على الميتينج إن شاء الله.
Okay, thank you, Miss Abir.
Okay.